Well, well, well. This certainly wasn't on the itinerary for today. This is an abandoned sugar mill, I think I was reading, and I'm supposed to be headed somewhere else, but I saw the large stacks and the rust, and I was like, whoop, swing this bus around. If you've looked through any of my photography, you know that I explore abandoned buildings all the time. I've been in old mills and abandoned mansions. I love Detroit for this very reason. But typically I have a pretty hard rule about not doing it by myself, and that's because I have on occasion almost fallen through floorboards, and it's a long way to the bottom and there's no one to rescue you. So for this one, we're probably just gonna go stick our head in and see how long it takes to get kicked out, take some photos. But this is a really cool facility and it's kind of wide open, which is bizarre. Normally there's a fence or security. You know, I'm not so worried about ghosts in these things as I am, one, the safety issues, and two, you never know who you're going to find inside, and more often than not, it is not fellow photographers taking photos, but it's homeless people or people selling or doing drugs, and when you're by yourself, that can get you into all sorts of trouble pretty quick without an escape plan. So let's just go see what we see and then get the hell on out of here. Documenting abandoned structures is something of an adrenaline-pumping art. You have to have a tripod, an escape plan, and very large lady balls. This was the Sinclair plantation sugar mill, built in the late 1800s and shut down in 2005. The plantation itself was once so large it was completely self-sufficient with its own currency, animals, stores, staff housing, and rail system. Sugarcane is woven into Louisiana's cultural and economic history. It thrives here because of the humid, warm air and damp soil. Sugarcane is still the largest crop produced across the globe. I have no idea what this mill once looked like. When it was shut down, anything of value was scrapped or sold, which explains the absence of security. Oddly enough, while the production area has been left to decay, the owners recently restored the largest smokestack and now light it at night. Well, that'll get your blood pumping. I really love exploring abandoned buildings, but again, for the most part, I do it with other people because you just have no idea who you're going to roll up on or what you're going to fall through, like I said before. And right as I was taking photos on this side, I stuck my head in there to crawl in just a little bit, and I could hear somebody moving around in there, and chances are it's somebody doing exactly what I'm doing and they'll be fine. And I've met some really cool urban explorers who have taught me about shooting in very low light, and but you just don't know. And I'm kind of in the middle of the sticks. All it takes is to roll up on someone doing something that they shouldn't and deciding that you notifying anyone else about it is going to be a problem for them. And like, what am I going to do? Smack him with my tripod? I mean, I've got my pocket knife, but it's just not worth it. So I got some video in there. It's really neat inside. I'm glad they haven't ripped it down. But what I'm going to do is that I'm going to edit all my photos and I'll post those on the blog, and you can check those out because I'm just, the second I can hear voices, which are human voices, not haunted voices, like, I'm good, I'm done. Let's keep going. Another dilapidated mill is at our next stop, further south in Tibido, Louisiana. Here, you can root around some of the old machinery. Note the store. While most tourists will be enamored with its antiques, there is a dark, gritty history here. We find it where the selfie snappers are not, out at the slave village near the mill. There's little left of the 160-plus-year-old sugar mill, built with hundreds of thousands of slave-made bricks. Production stopped in the 30s, and Hurricane Betsy leveled what was left. The barbed wire fence is intended to keep out miscreants who continue to pillage and set fire to the remaining structures. Once the Civil War ended, all the slaves had to be paid. Well, the mill got around that by giving them store credit instead. Credit in the store that the mill owned, thereby continuing to not pay but profit off their laborers. Over time, the now free men and women tried to unionize to make a decent wage and ended up paying with their lives. The Smithsonian calls it the Tibido Massacre, a vengeful shooting that killed 60. You won't find that on practically any brochure here. The village and mill is said to be haunted, but pretty much every building of the 1800s is said to be haunted. Why don't we have haunted condos and apartment complexes? I mean, people die there all the time. To shake any demons, I swing into Tibido's Catholic Cathedral, where I am bound to find ceiling eye candy, and it does not disappoint. This church lost every single one of its pews in Hurricane Katrina, but has been flawlessly restored. The parishes of Louisiana have fought floods since their first footings were laid, and it's a battle not always won. Now we head west to Morgan City, where the river water is breaching the wall, and where I get to try my hand on a famous oil rig.